Do you remember the best toy you ever received?
As a child?
Mm-hmm.
I remember a little white doll chest that I got from this Hoffman mother's foster children parent. That's all I remember.
Little chest? Yeah. And you liked that. That was cool. Do you remember your most cherished item? Like, was there something you had that you cherished, like a little rock or something you had that was yours? A purse, trinket, souvenir, anything?
Not offhand.
Okay, that's okay. Be fun to know. Okay, another question. When's the first time you put on makeup?
It would be lipstick. As a teenager, I don't remember the first time.
And you bought lipstick then?
I had no money. No, I didn't buy it. I think Esther had some or something.
You remember putting lipstick on?
Yeah,
okay, so that was the first
occasion. I don't remember what it was.
First time you ever shaved your legs? Or did they do that back then?
No, no one did that.
You didn't?
No.
When did you start shaving your legs? Later on?
I guess when I was in nurse's training, I guess. I don't know.
Like Grandma never shaved her legs?
Of course not.
Well, I mean, I didn't know that.
No,
did she have long hairs on her leg?
I don't know. No one ever
okay. Well, you covered them up anyway, huh?
I guess
the first time that you ever drove a car?
Well, I told you my father taught us.
Yeah, about 16?
Yeah, 15 or 16.
When I do this book, I'm going to remember the first time when I ran over the neighbor's flowers, okay? Your first job.
Well, I don't know whether you mean paying job.
It doesn't have to mean paying, just your first job.
No, we would help people in the fields during the harvest time. We would stay with people's babies, but we didn't get paid.
But what was your first real job? Was it Daddy's off working with Daddy?
Oh, I did private duty when I
You did?
When I graduated from nurse's training. I did some private duty.
And you went like to people's houses?
Well, that or worked at night as shifts at the hospital.
And you got
we
paid?
Didn't have intensive care.
Yeah. So your first job was really private duty nursing. Yeah. That's pretty cool. How many years did it take you to finish nursing school?
3.
Was it hard work?
It was hard in that we worked on the floor during the day and we went to classes mostly at night. The first year we just had classes.
Was being a nurse back then, did you have to do a lot more than today?
I would hope to think so.
Let me ask you a personal question. Were you ever a good enough nurse for Daddy's perfectionism?
For Daddy's perfectionism?
You know how you said everything had to be just right? Did you ever work alongside Daddy?
For fun.
For fun?
It was fun.
He was very particular, though. Daddy was.
Yeah, but...
for fun. Okay, you did it for fun.
I just would laugh because it made me, the way those nuns would be so upset.
Yeah, I know.
That just made me...
I think y'all's story of meeting and marrying is wonderful. The country time girl and the big time doctor. He told me you won him by your smile.
Oh.
He said he saw that smile and he froze. That's what Daddy told me. What was your first dream of being a mom? When you got married, when did you begin to dream of wanting a child, or did you just, do you remember wanting a child or talking?
See, he wanted a child. He'd had 10 if he'd had his way.
He'd had 10?
He loved children. He was an only child. He was just sure that...
He wanted a big family?
Yeah.
And so
he never had a family. He was the only one.
You all showed me the story of the 4 rice things that grew. So how long after you got married did you have Carol? I don't know.
A year later.
Oh, so you got right
July,
to it.
Yeah, July. We were married the 22nd of July.
And when Carol was born, was Daddy
July
excited?
7th.
You
Yeah.
remember? And Peter came how much later?
14 months. Well, Peter was born in September, from July, 14 months.
And then he went to war. And he came home from war, and how soon after that was I born?
Well,
Pretty soon? Did you get pregnant pretty quickly?
Yeah. A year later, maybe, I guess.
And then you waited a while before Bill. Okay, what was the question? I want to know what was going on with you and Daddy that most of us were born in August and September? All of us have asked that.
I don't know.
You know, we always wonder. We guess Mother got pregnant at Christmas time with us. What was the deal? All except for Carol, who got a little off track because our birthdays are all so close. And did you ever plan to have us, except for Carol and Peter, 5 years apart? Who did that?
Well, 5 years is because Daddy was gone.
I mean, after me.
Bill.
You remember why you
I
waited
guess
5 years?
because CB wanted another child.
But if you wanted 10, you were waiting for
Well, I
long.
just didn't want 10.
You wanted how many?
I don't know. Didn't give it that much serious thought.
Okay, one other question we've always wanted to know, when you had Bill, did y'all decide no more children?
Yeah.
You or Daddy?
I.
Did Daddy have any problem with that?
Well, he would have had more.
Was he satisfied with 4?
Had to be.
Well, I mean, did you lay the line down on that?
Well, I mean, it's just, yes, that was just enough children.
Okay, but as far as Daddy was concerned, you could have had 5 more. And you
He'd
had,
always said, I can afford them.
and what would you say?
I'd say, no, that's enough.
It just seemed like 4 was enough. That's really interesting. So Daddy was really liked his family. That was his family because
He never had one.
he never had a family. So he had to learn a lot. You had a family, big family. Okay, your first crush was on who? Crush on a
I sort
boy.
of dated someone when I was in nurses training.
Who was it? You
I don't
remember?
even remember his name.
You had a crush on him?
Well,
Sort of, you
kind
know.
of liked him better than any of the others that I had dated.
But he didn't last.
No. I just wasn't that crazy about it.
Did you have a crush on a movie star or anybody growing up? Okay, that was your first crush. Your first boyfriend was who?
I don't remember who my first boyfriend was.
Were you anybody's girl in high school? I bet did you?
Don't even remember his name. I didn't like him. He would always give me these big Christmas presents, and then my parents would think I should go out with him, and I didn't want to, and I didn't want the presents.
Oh my!
I remember.
So he was more of a nuisance.
Yeah. And then I dated somebody whose name was Morris. I met him at a Walter B. convention in Port Arthur. His father, they had jewelry stores.
Yeah.
He kept on and on. I never was that crazy. And then I went out with Arthur Graff, Henry's friend, who was a preacher. He used to sing this song, "When the Moon Comes Over the Mountain."
To you?
Yeah.
Was that a popular song?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you never really.
Like, no. If he
Yeah.
was a preacher, I wouldn't give him a second thought. Then I met Victor Bubinghouse. His parents had a big store in Houston. He was the only one I had that acted like, well, like Morris, one of the jewelry stores. But Victor Bubinghouse, and then he was a friend. He was, I guess he was a preacher studying with Henry.
Another preacher.
Another preacher. And I was dating him some because his parents had enough money he could come home every so often on the train.
Yeah.
But I never just really liked him. And once again, I was in nurses training.
Yeah.
And see, Sister Mary read your letters.
His what?
Sister Mary would read your letters if she
Yeah.
wanted to.
Yeah.
And so I was just kind of stringing him along, or writing him letters and one thing and the other, because Henry told me, it seemed like he had a mastoid operation. Well, that's when they used to, when they didn't operate on behind
Yeah.
the ear. Then
Yeah.
And he was sick of one thing and the other. And Henry, I don't want to keep. Oh, you can't hurt his feelings. You can't this and he this and this and that. And I went, well, then I met CB. Well, I dated this one boy in Clifton, tall, blonde-haired boy. I don't remember his name either. And then I started dating CB seriously. So, like, I remember he gave me a fountain pen. I have it somewhere around here yet.
The other guy?
Christmas, no. CB did.
Oh, yeah.
Victor sent me a bracelet, which was stolen when it was a nice bracelet, and something when we got I got robbed in Orange.
Yeah.
But Victor sent that. But anyway, CB gave me a pretty fountain pen that first Christmas. I started dating him about Thanksgiving. I had 1 or 2 dates with him, and old Miss said he came home with a picture and said, just kept talking about me. And Aunt Nell always had such funny expressions,
Yeah.
She said, well, I can't wait to meet her. She said, Beanie, you think we're not going to put her back in the bottle? Because she knew Johnny, Aunt Nell knew Johnny real well.
Oh, yeah.
And all. I said, I don't think we're going to put her back in the bottle. So anyway, and so here I get this telegram out of clear blue sky when I was dating CB. Victor Boobinghouse says he's coming to see me on the train, and he would be at such and such a hotel to call me.
Is that the one that had that operation?
Henry wouldn't let me stop writing to him. What am I going to tell CB? God, here I was so in love with CB, and I'd only had, this was right after Christmas, I'd only been dating. And we were going out every night, before we had to go on duty. And I said, CB, I don't know what we're going to do. I said, this guy, I've been writing to him and all, what in the world? And he said, well, just be nice to him when he comes. And he said, just tell him that you have to be in at 9 o'clock. And I'll see you at 9:30, and we'll get a late prayer.
Really?
And that's what I did.
How long was he there?
A couple of days.
And you knew that was the one, you knew you were in love with Daddy,
yeah,
right?
I never was in love with Victor Boobinghausen.
Was that the last you saw of Victor?
That was the last, except guess what?
What?
Word came to us when we were in Beaumont that Victor Boobinghausen had accepted a call to the church in Port Arthur.
Oh.
And CB insisted we go over there. And word came to me that Victor Boobinghausen had said that he'd never forget me. That's what it was.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I don't think he knew I was in Orange.
Do you remember seeing Victor?
Saw him yeah.
How did he react to you? Do you remember?
Well, I think we just said hello and something like that.
Oh, my goodness.
But that was so funny when word came to us.
That is funny.
That he had accepted the call and he was at that beach.
He was in Port Arthur.
In Port Arthur, yeah.
Well, you almost got trapped by a preacher, but you ended up with a doctor.
No, I didn't almost. It was Henry wouldn't let me stop writing to him for some, I don't
Had
know.
to be nice
but,
to her.
So when I started dating CB, then see what Sister Mary said to me? You're making a big mistake. I really think that you should continue writing to Victor. He writes nice letters. He's a good Christian boy, man. See, she'd read your letters.
Yeah. Did that affect your life, that you were someone got into your stuff?
No, because you could get around it.
You were pretty conniving.
Was
Daddy fun when you met Daddy? Was he like sort of fun and daring?
Well, yeah. The first time, see, they put us on night duty.
I know that. Yeah, you told about that.
So one night, we were the telephone rang.
Yeah.
And CB answered it, and I was with him on night duty. But that wasn't when I was on night duty. I was not on. That was after I was on. See, after Sister put me on first floor, that only lasted about a month or so.
Yeah.
Because I was supposed to be up there helping in surgeries, the senior nurses, this and that. But then I was on night duty for a while, and we were on night duty, and the telephone rang. It was Johnny. And she said, what in the hell is the attraction up there? And CB said, she's standing right here.
Oh, that was the girl from Yes.
CB said she's standing right here.
Did you have an encounter with Johnny that night? Did
No,
she come up?
No, Johnny didn't come up.
Oh, she was calling on the phone. So you know when he actually really broke his involvement with her?
At Christmas. It was Christmas. He
The
called.
next year?
No, that year.
You only met him at Thanksgiving.
That's right. And so the sisters knew everything. See, they knew everything. And CB would tell everything. So he showed them that he said that
Bracelet.
the bracelet that he was giving Johnny for Christmas.
Uh-huh.
And so sister on the second floor was looking out the window, and she said, "Did you know the doctor?" They didn't want me to go with him.
Yeah.
Wanted me
Why not, Mom?
because nurses weren't supposed to go with doctors.
Oh, yeah.
And so she said, "Did you know that he showed us the bracelet that he's giving to Johnny?" And I said, "Yes." And I said, "I know he's going up there and giving it to her. He's going to break up with her this weekend. He's
Yeah.
going to tell her that's the last time he was coming," which was true.
Did you ever in your life meet Johnny?
No.
Did you ever see a picture?
Yeah, I think I saw a picture of her.
She looked like you.
I think, no, she was a blonde. I think, the funny thing is, now that you mention it, you remember I had a facelift
Yeah. When you were
in Dallas?
2 or something, like younger than
No.
me. Yeah.
No, it was after CB died.
I know, but you were in your 50s. You were younger than me.
Or 60s, about 60.
Yeah,
But
you
anyway, and I was up here in an office, and I heard a voice in the next door in the office, and something about Shattuck. And I thought I heard someone say, "Johnny, is that the girl?" I think she was there, and I didn't see her, but I think she was in that next door. She married one of these salesmen that goes around and tells doctors about new medicines.
Yeah.
Pharmaceutical salesman.
Yeah.
She married one of this.
Yeah.
But
How long had Daddy gone with her?
a long time. He dated her quite a long time.
So you and Daddy
But
really...
Aunt Nell always said that she was always saying the downside of everything.
She was a pessimist.
I guess the pessimist. That's what Aunt Nell knew her well. Aunt Nell knew her.
You were real welcomed into Daddy's family, weren't you? They liked you.
Yeah,
I know they did.
I shall never forget the first time I met CB's parents.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I took a bus to Houston, and CB picked me up in Houston.
Yeah.
And we got there, and there old Miss sat in the rocking chair, and Grandpa Shattuck sat in the rocking chair.
Yeah.
And the funniest, is this all being recorded?
Yeah, everything we said today.
So that was, and they were all just so nice to me, and I, of course, was nice to them, and this and that. So the next morning, then we went by Chris's, and my eyes opened because I saw a picture there of this man that my friend, our friend, was dating in nurses training. Rodney, his name was Rodney, and I couldn't believe it. I thought, that's Rodney, that's the same picture so that kind of, So we visited there with Chris.
Why was that significant? I don't understand.
Because he was nothing but a traveling salesman. He was a girlfriend of my friend.
Okay.
Here was Chris.
Oh, okay.
He was
With
dating
the same
Chris,
man.
the same one. See, she was living with Mother and Bum. I didn't go to see Chris, but I went to see Mother. CB wanted me to meet Mother and Bum.
Yeah.
Went to Mother and Bum. Then we go over to Aunt Nell's.
And?
I meet Aunt Nell. And lo and behold, there sits Rodney.
Mom, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be
There
kidding
is a picture.
He was dating all these women at the same time?
I said, CB? What? I said, this is
Did
crazy.
Chris and Aunt Nell know each other at the picture?
I guess not. And I thought,
Did you tell your friend?
no. And so, because it was so much, at that time, you see, then that was when I was doing private nursing. I don't know where she went after that. But here was that picture. But see, here's the thing. The most exciting thing that happened in nurses training is we would be in class, and all of a sudden Mary would hand me a note and said, "Rodney's in town." I'd write, "Rodney's in." That meant excitement.
Why?
We had to slip her out down the fire escape.
Oh, yeah. Who was he dating at nurses?
Well, this girl,
Yeah.
Frida.
Y'all slipped her out?
We had to. So you see,
Oh,
so
no.
here come, we've got to work on this. Rodney's in town.
Yeah.
So we had Sister Annie, who was come out and check that we were in our rooms. We were supposed to be in our rooms
At 9?
10,
10.
but in our rooms. So, and she was a little old lady, and she was always scratching her head, and she'd say, "Everybody in bed, everybody." Yeah. So what we would do is we would detain her in one room.
Yeah.
Like she'd come by my room, and I'd be in my room, and then she'd go to the next room. And while she's in the next room, they were sure that they would keep her, and I'd run and get in Frida's bed.
Oh, you did?
So
Like
she'd
you were
say-
asleep?
She never looked, Yeah.
Yeah.
She'd say, "Everybody in
Did
there."
it work every time?
Sure. Gail, that's the third cigarette in 30 minutes.
Okay, I'm nervous. Okay, I'm going to stop smoking right after Christmas. Okay, just on the tape. Keep going.
So that was the most exciting. I mean, Rodney's, and so
Rodney would traveled around.
he was a traveling salesman.
Oh, and Chris and Nell both dated him?
And here was that same picture. The same picture.
Oh, Mom, that is
Rodney
funny.
is in town.
That is funny.
Well, and CB knew about Rodney and all. And so the last time I heard from her, she was on a train and met somebody who knew me
Huh?
and got my address. It was from Jane Dudgeon when she was going out
Yeah.
to California
Yeah.
to see Howard all. And she got my address, our address, and she said, "Whatever happened to her?
Rodney?
Did she marry Dr. Shattuck?" They call him Dr. Did she marry?
Oh, you bet you. Yeah.
They just got to talking
Yeah.
on the train for hours.
Yeah.
You sit next to somebody.
Yeah.
And it came up that they both knew me, see. And so she said, did something about him. Said, "Oh, yeah." I said, "I know Dr. Shattuck. He was a good friend of my husband's, and we're good friends." And so she got the address, and she wrote me a letter and said, "Rodney and I finally got married, and we have a little boy." She married this nurse, yes. After all that, I guess
Well,
I guess he left his first wife.
I wonder if he was faithful to her.
I don't know.
I doubt it. He looks like somebody
Well,
back in the old movie.
But that's the last time. I hadn't heard from her years and years, and
That's amazing, Mom.
I got this note.
Isn't that interesting?
And when Rodney's in town, man, we'd all get excited.
That's funny. There was excitement.
And we'd have to lock that door. Was always locked. That was
Oh,
a
yeah.
fire escape
What was the lady's name that dated Rodney?
that dated Rodney.
The one that y'all had to
Frida.
cut.
Her name was Frida. Frida
She married
Landscape. She finally, I don't know when. She
Is
just
she pretty?
pretty. Yeah, not a.
Rodney must have been a charmer, Mom.
But I was just can remember sitting in class.
That's hilarious.
Rodney's in town.
I bet your
Man.
eyes popped out.
Rodney, I just could not believe it.
That's hilarious.
See, and I laughed about that. I don't know how many times.
That's really
Rodney's
funny.
in town.
That's funny. Mom, that's funny.
But I tell you, it was so funny that
My eyes would have popped too if I'd seen the same guy
the
sitting
same
with somebody
picture.
in
He
the
gave
same
everybody
family.
the same picture. But that was so funny. I shall never forget that. That was
You
my,
and Daddy really fell in love, didn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, did you just sort of know what was it about Daddy?
Well,
that
I just never been treated like he treated me.
How did he treat you?
Well, I meant going out to eat. I never. That
I
was
mean,
just
you
something.
got to know another side of the world. Did they have shows back there?
I told you, didn't I?
You saw the last
Horizon.
Horizon. You remember back then what your favorite show was? Is there a show you remember?
Last.
The last. Well, you know what? I am going to go try to find that and watch.
Peter and them have seen it. They know.
Where have they seen it?
I guess that. Yeah, they've seen it.
Who's in it?
I don't know.
The last. I'm gonna look for that movie. It probably shocked you because you hadn't seen that many movies.
But anyway, that was my first meeting with all those people.
What is the funniest thing that ever happened on a date? Anything funny ever happened on a date?
No.
It was pretty funny. The funniest thing is that y'all got on the same shift.
Yeah, well, that was...
Okay, we're going to go to vacations. What is the best vacation you had in your whole life?
Our honeymoon.
Not the Orient?
That was our second honeymoon.
I know, but where did y'all, I don't even know what you did on your honeymoon.
We spent our first night in Trinidad.
Where's that?
In Colorado, where you got so blown up when you...
Did y'all drive there?
Yeah.
Okay, that was your honeymoon.
Well, we spent the first night in Fort Worth.
Now let's go back to this. You've never told me this in my whole life. Your wedding day. Tell me about it. I don't know what you
Very,
wore.
very, very simple. In those days, see, that was right after the Depression started.
Mm-hmm.
And I followed my sister. She wore a navy blue dress and was married at home, at my mother's home. And so
Navy
I had
blue.
Mine was a navy dress that had lace, a lot of lace on it. And
Didn't brides wear white then?
no. Well, they did, I guess, but I didn't. And,
Really?
And so we were married at this little Lutheran church in Waco.
Okay.
My aunt, who lived with us, was at home dying.
Okay.
And so Mother and Daddy came to Waco. Daddy married us.
Really?
Daddy married us, and my
Sweet.
my friend Mary was and Alexander were our, and Aunt Nell and Thelma, and then they all came.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
We
yeah.
just got married.
A little Lutheran church?
A little Lutheran church, and like I say, they threw rice and we left.
Did they have a reception?
No, we had no reception, anything. We just got married, and
Wow.
we spent the first night in Fort Worth,
Okay.
and then we drove to Trinidad. That was Colorado, and then
I never knew that.
And then we went to spend a week in Colorado Springs. Scared me to death. We drove up to that mountain.
Yeah, that's scary.
Ran out of money.
You ran out of money?
Ran out of money, and
What'd
so
you do?
CB went to the bank had his dad wire us some more money, and they asked him who he knew, and he said, "Well, Stark, Lutcher Stark."
He did say that?
Yeah, because the people see Lutcher Stark had
And
a big
happened?
ranch in Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
And CB turned around, and in the distance there was Stark. He didn't know CB from Adams.
That's hilarious. He was there?
Yeah, but just because CB said he knew
That's
Lutcher Stark, they
hilarious,
just
yeah.
gave him money right there.
Did they really?
I remember that. So he's a man of all
Oh,
times.
that's
Lutcher
amazing.
Stark would have to be in
Oh,
Colorado.
Yeah, they laughed about that since then as they've known each
Well,
other.
Lutcher Stark didn't know CB. CB knew Lutcher Stark.
Is he the one they're exhuming?
That
Is
yes,
it Lutcher?
Yes.
Okay.
By the way, Becky's writing a book. It should be out pretty soon.
Wait.
I can't do
You gotta let me know when that comes out.
That was never solved. And
I want to call Becky. You know her, email her.
I guess she's divorced again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's writing a book, and this is about Lutcher. Okay.
Oh, all about this.
So
It was never. No one ever read what happened when they exhumed the bodies. It all just dropped right there.
I can't wait to read.
And Butch Stark, it ended up her costing a tremendous amount of money to pay her lawyers.
Well, I just say to everybody on this tape, when this book comes out, we all need to read it, because this happened in Orange, Texas.
And
So y'all went to Trinidad. How long were y'all gone on your honeymoon?
about 2 weeks.
Whoa.
And you know, I have that little Indian jacket.
Yeah, that's from your honeymoon.
From that
Where
belt.
is it?
It's up in the closet.
Yeah, I remember that. You remember having, okay, y'all went on your honeymoon. Did you have fun?
Of course we did.
Did you just laugh a lot and
Yeah,
what
we
you
rode
do?
horses, and I just was scared of horses, just barely trotted and climbed that mountain, that little mountain, that you
Yeah.
climb up there like everybody does. And
And it was night, and you had a honeymoon for 2 weeks, and you drove back.
we drove back. And
Did you have wedding announcements
Yeah,
back then?
it's in the closet in the living
I've
room.
never seen it.
Well, you've ever looked in that?
Well,
It's right
next time I
there.
come over, will you show me
It's
all these
right
things?
there.
You know what we need to do? We need to get a box together and put the things you're talking about, like the necklace, where you put the penny quarters, nickel in, and your jacket and several other things you've mentioned, so we could see them. Because those are all fascinating.
And you've got the blanket.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, got the blanket.
And the next
everybody.
time we went, we bought another blanket.
Yeah.
2
So
blankets.
that was where you sort of learned to love to go to Colorado, because that's where we went. And then you said that was your favorite trip. But of course, I remember the trip to China was a big deal too,
Yeah,
because
we had
y'all
some.
had waited so long. Was that a really fun trip?
Yeah, it was really a fun trip.
And it was really sad because right after that, Daddy died, and y'all were going to take a lot of
Daddy
trips.
was about everything. Collier just laughed and said, CB, are you ever going to stop buying? He bought everything. How much he didn't, we bought all of
But
it.
it was so exciting because he always, Daddy had worked really hard and not
He
really.
never wanted to.
So Daddy really liked to buy on that trip.
We started keeping all this material that we thought we would take a trip. And after our trip to New York, CB came home and he said, I never want to be away from home that long again. He liked short trips. He did not like being away from home. And he the first thing he did is he went to the office and threw all that material and all that, we threw all that stuff away. And then I was up here when Todd was born.
Mm-hmm.
And Collier and Betty called CB and said, look, there's somebody that's canceled this trip. You're not going to say no. You and Halter are going with us on this trip. CB said, okay.
Where was it?
To the Orient.
Oh, yeah.
And I had 1 week to get ready. Well, in those days, you thought, you had to have all these different, it's hot over there, these different kind of clothes. And CB called and said, I want you to come home tomorrow. We're going to so-and-so. I said, what? I mean, we'd taken a trip to Mexico. Yeah, but gosh, I didn't know.
I remember. I remember you stopped by Dallas and we saw y'all and I cried because you'd never been so far away. And back then, that was a far way away.
Yeah, and we went to Mexico when Bill was a baby.
Yeah, I remember that.
CB did the same thing. He came home one Thursday afternoon and said, tomorrow we're leaving to go to Mexico. I said, what?
Who took care of us?
Miss Beulah, of course.
Oh, I didn't like her. I just have to say one thing. When I'm doing this book, for some reason, it's going to come up. I did not like Miss Beulah. And I just didn't like her. I don't remember why, but I did not like her.
And
Miss Beulah was not nice.
Anyway, so, and Bill was then about 2, I guess, maybe not. I don't know what year.
I know, he was
not quite.
scared.
And he'd always say, I want to go on an airplane. I'd put him in the high chair to feed him. He said it over and over and over. I want to go on an airplane. Airplane. I want to go on an airplane. Finally one night I said, okay, Bill, we'll go on an airplane. He said, might fall and hurt myself.
I remember. That's funny.
He didn't ever say it again. He said, might fall and hurt myself.
No, he was serious what she told
Just
him.
like when I took him over to one night, when we went to Galveston that time, I dropped him off at Aunt Nell's.
Yeah.
And I said, and he looked up at Aunt Nell and he said, you got to watch me every minute or I'll hurt myself.
That's funny. Okay, a question. You had 4 children. We were all different personalities, right? Okay, just use like a sentence or 2 sentences to define Carol. Give me some adjectives, some words to define Carol's personality.
Strong-headed.
Strong-headed. Okay, what else?
Didn't like physical exercise or
Okay.
liked to read.
Like to read the music?
and music. I find he and, God, who was his friend in high school, so smart.
Carol was real smart, too.
Oh, yeah, he was smart.
And wouldn't you say that out of all the children, that Carol's the biggest mama's boy? Was.
Yeah.
I mean, because it always seemed like you looked out for Carol. Daddy was sort of hard on him. He just looked out for Carol. Okay, Peter. What words come up?
Adventurous.
Mm-hmm.
Talked before he could walk.
Yeah, I knew that.
Talked before Carol.
Yeah,
Uh,
as a little boy.
always couldn't, just like I say, you couldn't leave him a minute. He was always getting into trouble.
I remember.
And Carol was always standing there watching him, and after he'd do it, then Carol would come tell me what Bubba had done.
Yeah.
I told him when Peter was born, I said, don't let
Bubba.
We call him Bubba, don't let Bubba suck his thumb. And as I've always said, Peter didn't have a Chinaman's chance. We have pictures of him. He'd stand right there by the buggy.
I know. He took you seriously.
He took everything. He'd stand right there by the buggy, and every time Peter tried to put his thumb in his mouth, Carol would jerk it out.
I know. So would you say that Carol and Peter were real opposite in personality?
Right.
And then,
They were a lot alike. They played together very well.
but they were different.
Peter did not, Carol liked to be rocked and loved. Peter wanted in his bed. He didn't like it.
Oh, really?
When Grandpa Shattuck would come, he'd want to be rocked a little bit, but then he was more comfortable in his bed. Where Carol was
Carol liked to be pampered.
pampered. Right.
Yeah. And then me,
You, well,
I don't know how I was.
you were spoiled. Everybody spoiled you.
Because I was a girl.
That's right. And and Peter and Scott took you everywhere they went practically.
Yeah, I know. Carol told me he helped me a lot when I was
Well,
little.
sort of. I think you have pictures of that.
Yeah.
As I say, Carol was active like Peter.
Yeah.
And I was always afraid that they were going to hurt you.
Hurt me?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they had you doing such dangerous things.
Peter had me smoking at 3.
And
Was I timid or was I not? What was I like? I mean, personality, was I loud?
no, you were very timid. You'd hide a lot. Yeah, I do remember that.
I was timid?
Yeah.
Was I anything else about me, you know?
You really liked your dolls.
I love my babies. I still do, don't I? Was I funny?
Well,
People think I'm funny, am I?
well, yeah, you and Daddy used to be funny together.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then Bill. What would you say about Bill?
he was spoiled.
We were spoiled, okay?
Bill was really spoiled because he was the last one, and he always got his way.
Yeah. Was he strong-headed, though? He seemed so sweet.
I don't remember him being strong-headed. I can remember that he was a very pretty baby, and I remember that Dr. Pierce's daughter and the Simmons daughter would come when they were in high school. Would come get him,
Yeah.
and push him in the tailor tot around the block as long as I'd let him, and they'd always say, "Those lips, he's going to break somebody's heart." And I never realized his lips, but they did say, "Look
Those
at the-
lips are passed on to his
those
children.
lips are going to break somebody's heart." That's
Right.
what they all those high school girls that come
He
over
did
the
have
house.
those curly lips.
They'd come look at him, and that's what they, of course, you know how they're so teenage girls are. But
Yeah.
they'd say, "He's going to break somebody's heart. Look at those lips."
Yeah.
Of course, I didn't pay any attention.
He
to
was a
it.
pretty boy.
Yeah, he
I
was.
was jealous because the Bridge Club paid more attention. Yeah. Okay, and then we're going to go to just a sentence or two. Do you remember Chad when he was little? How would you describe Chad?
A lot like Carol.
A lot like Carol, strong-headed, and what else?
Like music.
Yeah.
And he'd sit in that chair and suck a thumb and listen to the whole record. He was very careful with the records.
Yep.
And that he was the
Perfectionist.
only one that Phoebe would let play of the grandchildren because he was so careful. He would dust them off, and his records were his
Prized possession.
Those records, those little records.
He was very much a
And
perfectionist.
he knew each records before he could read.
No,
He
I
had-
remember.
I can't say much.
Okay, and how about, I'm going to go through all the children. Kimberly, what do you remember about Kimberly?
Slobbering,
What else?
and just jabbering. We couldn't understand what she was saying.
And we're just seeing what characteristics came through.
She had a phobia for school.
Stop.